guys, it's Sophie. So it's been a little while since I've done a video like this, just a sort of chatty one. I have a very full cup of tea to get me through. I've had a very busy day, so I need plenty of tea. So what I want to talk about today is, as you kind of guessed from the title, why I want to try and read less. And that is sort of an odd sentiment for BookTube, because obviously what we do here is we read lots, and it means we get lots to share with people and lots to talk about. And normally it's all about sort of more. I've seen some people sort of pulling away from that. The slow-a-thon is either on or just finished, and I think that's a great idea. And it's something I've been thinking about for a little bit of time, and I kind of want to explain why I'm going to plan on reading about half the amount of books I've read in 2016 in 2017. So we're going to start with Goodreads challenges. I really like them. I think they're a great way to keep track of your reading, to keep you motivated throughout the year. I set my Goodreads goal this year for 200 books. I had it last year for 100, and I actually ended up reading 183, which is why I set it to 200 this year, because I thought actually it seems to be a reasonable amount. It's only, 17 more books than I read in the whole of last year. That percentage-wise isn't that many to increase by, despite the fact I doubled my expectations. But I think what I've found this year is the kind of books I'm reading are making it hard to meet that goal. I am evolving as a reader, as I think we all kind of do. I'm picking up stuff that challenges me more, and stuff that requires more time to think my way through. And I am a bit of a stickler for, if I've set myself to do something, I will do it. So I will find a way to meet my 200 goal this year so that I can have that done. But I don't think it's a sustainable thing that I want to be doing long term, because I think I'd rather spend the time on harder books and read less than I would go for the easy ones. I mean, just as a sort of example, okay, so I've just taken 2 books off my shelf that you'll probably see is missing behind me. And the first one is The Gigantic Beard That Was Evil. This is a big graphic novel, very, very good, by the way, if you've not read it, and worth a shot. But this would class as one book towards my Goodreads goal. As with the one I've read this month, which is The Gene by Siddhartha Murkerjee, which is a really dense non-fiction book, all about human genetics. These two things count for the same amount on Goodreads, and that's what I'm struggling with, because I could easily read 200 books in a year. I could probably, and this isn't anything against YA, but I could probably read 200 YA books in a year, just because the writing's simpler and the plots are fairly straightforward. But I think one of the things I've learned from reading Infinite Jest and reading stuff like The Gene this year is that I really miss jumping into a book, and I've found myself a few times this year thinking, I know I could get more from this, but I better keep pushing on anyway because I've got to hit my goals. And that isn't the way I want to be reading, and that isn't what I get from reading. It's not about how much I can fit in. It should be about what I get from the books. It's a bit of a shame, really, because I've loved this year having the chance to dive into so many things and such a great variety of things. And I feel a little sad that I can't read 200 hard books in a year. But I also get that, and I'm not sort of beating myself up about it. It's just a big ask. And something I really like to do, having read David Foster Wallace, is to start reading stuff like Delilio and Pynchon, and stuff that is a little bit more cerebral and requires a little bit more legwork. And I can't do that the way I'm reading this year. The two don't gel. I'm also, as you guys know, I've read a lot more non-fiction this year, and essentially to read 200 books in a year I need to read a book every other day, a little bit less, but about a book every other day, so I need to read 16 books in a month. And it's hard. Like this, I could sit down and read in an hour and 2 hours. This, I can't make myself read this in 2 days. And I'm kind of ending up with a choice where I'm having, do I want to read the volume and expose myself to that number of ideas, or do I want to spend the time investing and understanding one idea fully? I'm still going to read a lot. That's just who I am. I'm a quick reader, and I love feeding myself with information. I think probably next year I'm going to look to read 100 books. If I read more, it doesn't, nothing else happens, nothing bad happens, I don't have to stick to it. But I'm not going to put myself under the sort of pressure to read so much. If it happens and it's organic and it's natural, but I want to have the time to spend on big books. And actually, I really, really like big books. I really like being invested in a world and understanding something and having the time to go away and look at author interviews and understand the context of something and read a bit more critically. And I don't have the space to do that right now. And it's just been bugging me for a little bit of time, and it's something that, you know, I wanted to tell you guys about because it kind of affects what this channel might be next year. But I think it's a positive thing. When I talk about my man bookers, I've been doing that and I'm pretty proud of that. I've put a lot of work into like getting my man bookers up and making sure that they are sort of coherent reviews, and I'm spending the time as I'm reading thinking about the books and what I'm going to say, and I'm far more proud of that content than I am of my wrap-ups where I just run through a ton of books saying a couple of sentences about each one. And I'm not going to be reviewing every book I read, that isn't my aim, but I'd like to have the time to know I could, you know? There are a lot of books I've read this year that I don't feel as though I'd have a video's worth of thoughts on, either because I've read them so fast that I forgot them, they blurred into the, you know, the 6 other books that I've read in the same couple of weeks, or that I haven't had the time to sort of ruminate on them, and I want to change some of the things I'm doing. Let me know if this is something that you guys have sort of encountered. Tell me if this bothers you, because, you know, I read for me, but in terms of communicating my reading, it's very much for you guys. And I want to make sure that there's a balance. But I don't think there's as much value in having shallow opinions on so many things, especially when I want to be reading the harder things, because what I'm ending up with is having shallow opinions on important things, and that just sucks. So yeah, it's probably going to be changing, but I would still want to know what you think of it. You know, if that's going to be a negative for you, I get that, but hopefully there are some people who will sort of appreciate that. Also let me know sort of what quantity of reviews you guys want. I do like doing reviews because it gives me the space to talk about the books, but I'm aware that they get a lot less views and a lot less interest, which sort of indicates to me that they aren't as well liked as videos. I guess it's probably that not everyone's interested in that book. But if you're someone who enjoys reviews, let me know. If you're someone who will never watch them because I sometimes do spoilers, then let me know that too. It's useful for me to keep trying to develop what I'm doing here. But yeah, hopefully that has made some kind of sense to you, and I'm going to stop rambling now because I feel like I've talked over myself a little bit. But I'll see you guys soon in my next video, probably going to be more man bookers. There are lots of videos around, I'll link one up for you there so you can sort of jump on that train if you want to, and I will see you soon. Bye guys. I think if I was a guy and I was reading this, my main takeaway would be that I shouldn't go on holiday on my own. A lot of these guys end up having very depressing experiences on holiday on their own.